This is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. It's for entertainment, educational purposes only, and everything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. That being said, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff, get the video, put them out, see what I'm thinking, see how I'm analyzing that data. But like I tell you every day, that data they release to us is false. It's meant to mess with us psychologically to take advantage of us so that we can make bad trading decisions. Listen, here's the thing. We all know that the corruption never ends, that the 1% make money, not because they're smarter than us, but because they can break the law without consequences. And then here is further evidence of that. The feds violated the Dodd Frank Act. And the purpose of the Dodd Frank Act was because of all the fraud, corruption, and shenanigans of 2008. They put it in place so that the feds can't be bailing out their buddies. They can't be saving their buddies from bankruptcy. Because during the 2008 crisis, we found out that the Federal Reserve was illegally printing money electronically to hide it from the American people, to hide what they were doing. And they funneled $8.9 trillion into the market to save these banks that were making bad decisions. These banks were lining their pockets, robbing retail investors, robbing pension funds, and then their buddies, their homies, their co-conspirators in the Federal Reserve was funneling them money and creating that money electronically so that it didn't really have to be reported like if you printed $2 trillion worth of $100 bills. They just created the money in a computer and gave it to their homies. And they used that money to further manipulate the market, make it appear like they were healthy banks, when in reality, they were losing money hand over fist. If you or I was in financial situations like that, if our FICO score had dropped to 400, could we get a loan? Could we get a loan in the trillions of dollars? Of course not. But these guys can do what they want with our tax dollars. They can make bad decisions. They can short companies into oblivion. And then when they make a bad decision, they just call their buddies in the Federal Reserve, hello, and their buddy just starts giving them money to keep them afloat. I mean, it's the craziest thing in the world. Now, the Dodd Frank Act, the purpose of the act was to ensure that these bad actors, these banks that were managed by idiots, were not allowed to utilize our tax money, the Federal Reserve, to save them from bankruptcy. If they had short-term, and that is the key term, if they had short-term financial situations, the Dodd Frank Act allowed the Federal Reserve to give them a temporary cash influx. That's what they were allowed to do. But because there is nobody enforcing the laws, because the rules only apply to us and not to them, Citibank or Citicorp, or Citigroup rather, who had been unprofitable for quarter after quarter after quarter, continuously losing money, they loaned them $46.25 billion in repo loans to help them stave off bankruptcy. And that is totally contrary to what the Dodd-Frank Act allows them to do. But do they care? No. Do they follow the law? No. You know why? Because there's no repercussions. Nobody in Congress is doing anything. We know the SEC is not going to do anything. The DTCC, FINRA, CFTC, all of these guys conspired together to violate our RICO law. They conspired together to form an illegal monopoly. They conspired together to violate our antitrust laws. And as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, these guys need to be locked up. If I did something like that, if you did something like that, you would be in handcuffs. But these guys continue to violate the law. They continue to engage in criminal activity. And when they are caught, now I won't even say caught, because the SEC, the DTCC is aware of what they're doing. So it's not like they're doing it in the dark. They're doing it in broad daylight. But when the DTCC or the SEC or FINRA decide that they want their cut, then they bring them in, they sit them down to coffee, they probably watch a little porn together, and then when they're done, they say, okay, write us a check for $2 million, write us a check for $20 million, write us a check for $50 million. And that is how our market is run. It is totally corrupt, and it needs to be broken down and rebuilt from the ground up, because it is, the business model is to rob retail investors and pension funds. That's really the bottom line. But anyway, hit the like button, subscribe button on that YouTube algorithm. Tell me what you think about the feds violating the Dodd Frank Act to help Citigroup stay out of bankruptcy. And how, when they were funneling this money out of Wall Street, they gave Citigroup $2 trillion. They gave Morgan Stanley $1.9 trillion. They gave $1.775 trillion to Merrill Lynch. And this is all illegal money that they should not have been printing electronically, but they gave it to these guys to keep them afloat, because guess what? Obviously they're run by incompetent people, because how can you have trillions and trillions of dollars and end up needing trillions and trillions of dollars in loans to keep you from bankruptcy from the United States government? Anyway, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff. I appreciate y'all on this journey with me. God bless.